So now we're going to move this a little bit and talk about some tech stuff. We're going to help people to figure out maybe if we're going to be at home, how do we connect with the outside world? And Carly, did I get everything? What am I missing? Carly is she is our information officer for today, and she's keeping me updated on everything. Oh, and I'm sorry, Tarey Potter will get with you also in a minute with LINC, LINC, and we're going to learn what that means. So hang on. All right, so I know I'm on because I can hear me and I can see me now. Have we got Krista and Tarey on here yet?
I'm here.
Okay, we're good. Oh,
I think we're here.
Oh, very good. Thank you for being with us today. I appreciate that. If I can maybe kind of reset what we're doing a little bit, what we would like to accomplish if we can. I don't know that we can, but what we'd like to do is for those folks, and there's quite a few that want to age in place, and for them that means in their home. And it could be that I'm not always sure they should, but if they're going to, one, it is an intentional decision, right, to do that, and that they have the best information available to them to make sure that, one, they're safe in their home, and two, that they have a high quality of life, which means that, they're not socially isolated, unless, of course, they want to be socially isolated. And I know a few, but most don't. Most want to be involved with other people. So that's what we're trying to do, and we've had some pretty good response to that. And so that was the setup. Questions about the setup? Did you want to jump in and go, well, Mark, you're out of your mind? No, you can't do that. Or do you want to jump in now and say, well, wait a minute. Here's what we can offer to this. Okay. So, technology. Krista, talk to us about technology. What are some things that we can be thinking about or talking to mom and dad about to kind of help, improve or maintain quality of life from that standpoint?
Can I share my screen and talk through?
Oh, I see a screen that says Idaho Assistive Technology Project. So evidently you can.
Okay, here we go. So the Idaho Assistive Technology Project is a statewide cross-disability organization focused at lifespan services from children to aging in place issues, focused on the technology to help people stay independent and accomplish their goals, whatever those might be. And we provide information and referral and public awareness and training and technical assistance, all sorts of workshops. We also do assessments for schools and for employment. And we have technology resource centers around the state, in Coeur d'Alene, in Moscow, in Boise, and then we collaborate with Life Incorporated in Idaho Falls to provide some demonstration equipment over in that region of the state. So what is assistive technology?
I was going to ask that question. I was
Okay.
sitting here going,
You're
"Oh,
there.
okay, but you got ahead of me. Sorry.
So it's any item or piece of equipment or software or product system that's used to increase, maintain, or improve the functional capabilities of people with disabilities. Long federal definition, but really it's a tool to get the job done. And it ranges from the very low tech options, everything from the little rubber grippers to help with jar opening to the very—
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Mhm.
Now, I use those.
Uh-huh. Yes. And
There's something the other day I could not get open.
And it becomes assistive technology when it's helping a person overcome a functional limitation.
Oh, very good.
So at the high-tech end of the spectrum, there are things like power wheelchairs that will also boost someone into a standing position, or eye gaze computer access for someone who doesn't have use of their hands or their voice to control their computer, and everything in between. However, one of the biggest issues is overcoming the resistance to trying something new. Many of these tools can be life-changing, if not life-saving. And I've seen research that says that people wait an average of 7 years beyond the point that they start developing hearing problems before they actually purchase their first set of hearing aids. 7 years.
Well, yeah, Tarey can probably help us with this too, but on one hand, that seems outrageous, but on the other hand, that seems about right.
It's kind of the way it happens.
Oh, goodness.
And a wheelchair can be a tool of freedom for someone whose legs or lungs won't get them where they want to go. I still have this very vivid memory of a guy in a manual wheelchair in the ruins of Machu Picchu.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Mm.
whoa, that's
Whoa.
at like 17,000 feet, isn't it?
Yep. And a bus ride up a very narrow, yeah. And where there's a will, there's a way. Judy Heumann says, for most of us, technology makes things easier. For a person with a disability, it makes things possible.
Yeah.
So there are all of these different categories of assistive technology, tools to help with vision issues, with hearing issues, communication, technology for learning and cognition and developmental progress. There's the whole realm of mobility and seating and positioning. There are tools for daily living and environmental adaptations and vehicle modifications and transportation. There are all kinds of computer access and peripheral tools for accessibility. And then there are a whole range of recreation and sports and leisure tools. Like the picture, let's see, a four-wheeled bicycle.
Yeah.
Can be a great recreation tool when your two-wheeler doesn't get you there anymore.
Well, and what we're addressing here, if I can bring the view up just a little bit, is to the extent that we can, we're increasing an individual's independence.
Mhm.
or being able to do those high quality, the things that make our life high quality, to be able to do more of that, on their own, or at least improve their ability to do that.
Mhm. And increase safety and
Oh, yeah. Well, I like that
reduce
safety
fall
thing.
risk and yeah, all of those things.
So do you have the same lag with a number of these other technologies as you do with, say, hearing aids? Meaning,
Many.
oh, go ahead, sorry.
I think about the resistance to things like using a wheelchair. I would say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're a funny animal. That's all I can say. We're a totally funny animal. You
That
would
we
think
are.
you would think that we would jump at this. Ignorance, I mean, that's why you're here, is to help us overcome the ignorance.
And to reframe the possibilities that are
Very good.
out there.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
And
Very good.
anyway, our program also offers a low interest financing program to help people purchase assistive technology. So when, let's say, when the spouse can no longer lift the wheelchair into the back of their car
Yes.
and need an option for transporting it, what do you do? So one of the possibilities is like Tarey's program. We do collaborate with them on another of our programs. But if there is the financial resources to pay back a loan, we have a collaboration with Zions and KeyBank, and we're working on one with the Northwest, what's it called? Anyway, a state, multi-state program that would help us make even larger loans for vehicle modifications and for things like home modifications. And about a third of the loans for this program go to people who would not be able to qualify for an unsecured bank loan on their own. Oh. And we also provide a lot of referral when it comes to meeting assistive technology needs. What other programs are available before proceeding to a bank loan? We've got an equipment redistribution website called Idaho AT for All. And it is like a Craigslist for assistive technology. So people can donate equipment to programs like LINC's equipment redistribution. And then that equipment gets redistributed to people around the state. We also work with a program called Computers for Kids, which refurbishes computers and then gets them out to students with disabilities. We also have a program called I Can Connect, which is Idaho's National Deafblind Equipment Distribution Program. So for people who have combined vision and hearing loss, we can do communication assessments and then purchase equipment and train them how to use it. We also have a couple of communication access programs, one where we're working with long-term care facilities in the southwest region of the state. And another one that we're working with vaccine sites and medical providers about providing communication access and full communication interactions with their residents and patients. Another of the tools that we have available is this link to, well, it's a resource list of financial options for making home modifications to keep people in their own home. And if you use your smartphone camera to take a picture of this little QR code and then touch on the picture on your smartphone, it will take you directly to this document. And there's my contact info. So that's
very good.
That's the overview.
Okay, well,
I'll
hold
turn
on.
it
Don't
over.
don't move that slide for just a second. All right. Terry's good for a minute, but let's get that information so that people can access that. Krista, I have a couple of questions, if I may. This is a state program.
Mhm.
And is it accessible only through a state office, or is there access through the different regions or counties as well?
So we have 3 offices, one in Coeur d'Alene, one here in Moscow, and then one in Boise. And then there are also some assistive technology lending items available through Life Incorporated in Idaho Falls. And they are the counterpart for Tarey's program for the eastern region of the state.
Oh, very good. All right. So one more question. We're having a conversation in between sessions that it seems like that there's so much information available to people that it's easy to get overwhelmed and they don't even know where to start. And so that part of that is the question that we just had, and that is, we have the 3 offices. If they have access to a computer and can get on, then they can track down the information you're providing. What does it take to qualify for this help? I mean, if they're sitting there going, yeah, but that's for other people, what should they know?
All they need to do is call. We provide information and referral on technology and disability issues across the board. So if somebody has a question about what technology might be available to help me with a certain issue, or how do I finance the technology that I need, it's a free service. The information and referral portion of our service is completely free to anyone.
And does the state program, does it provide some funds that help people to obtain this, or is it just simply a referral out to places where they might get some financing? What are their options for paying for this?
We are a hub that helps people navigate the multiple systems through which they might pay for assistive technology or find it for free. So we refer people through the insurance options. We refer people through the different programs that might be able to cover something like a ramp or, what might be covered through an equipment redistribution program. So there are multiple possibilities, and our goal is to help people find the right pathway to get what they need.
And so again, then, as you said, they just need to call.
Yes.
All right. Very good. Very good. Well, thank you. Yeah, well, we find that it is incredibly helpful to have someone who can help us navigate, because there's a lot of information out there. And I think a lot of people just don't even start because they don't know where to begin. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So now, hopefully they got your information, because we're going to turn that off. I think we're going to turn it off. I don't know. I'm not in charge. I just sit here. Hey, Tarey, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So to talk to us about, I think in the business, they call it DME. It took me a long time to figure out what that meant. But durable medical equipment.
Correct.
Listen, I don't want to jump. If you've got a slideshow, we'll throw it on and I'll hold my questions. If not, I have a couple of questions. First of all, not all of us know what durable medical equipment is. Can you kind of give us an idea there first?
Absolutely. Durable medical equipment is assistive technology, as Krista was saying, towards making life in the home or abroad more easy and what a person wants for their own personal goals. So the restroom is a big one, where we do bath chairs, transfer benches to get in and out of the tub. We do step stools to help people be able to reach a sink. We have worked even in automatic door openers to help them enter throughout parts of their house and rooms. It also goes heavily into the bedroom, where we offer trapezes to help people get up and out of the bed, wedges to sit up in bed and prevent any injuries or sores if they're in bed a lot. We do wheelchairs, walkers, rollator walkers, power wheelchairs, patient lifts, as well as sit-to-stand lifts. It's a very endless list, actually, because you get all the components that then work hand in hand with one component to another, say a transfer board where you can move from your lift reclining chair into your wheelchair. And we work with all of those items and train people how to use them and the safe way to do so they can stay in their homes and do the life that they want to live.
Oh my, that is a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And I'm sure that wasn't exhaustive. That was just a really good list.
Oh, yes. It's not exhaustive at all.
So, sometimes we don't even know what we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so how would you get someone started, for example, of even thinking through this stuff? Where do they begin to even know? Well, not just that it's available, but there's a way to improve their quality of life.
Well, we work with two primary groups: people who are becoming disabled or have been disabled, and then the other group being what we term as temporarily disabled. You may have been in a car accident or fell over a rock wall on a hike. And many of those people on the latter side, they're going to have an occupational or physical therapist who's going to introduce them to us. And we work hand in hand with the therapist to provide with them how to prevent re-injuring themselves, how to conduct their life in a normal manner from day to day, despite their injury. When we work with more of the disabled community, that's where we may actually need to go in and do a home assessment. We typically often work with very close friends or family members who are seeking how to help their family members stay in the home. And so we'll go in and we'll recommend if they need some shower bars installed in the shower or the bathroom, what kind of items will help them, such as the transfer benches or the shower chairs, lift bars, transfer poles, anything that will help them stay safe and in their home.
Okay, so you say we go in and we do that. Who's we?
So right now I'm the main equipment manager, and so I do a lot of this myself, but I do have my main supervisor, Lana Gonzalez, and she goes out with me on some ramp builds and assessments and talks to the people to get to know their families. And then there's also our information specialist, Kelly Dole. And she's a well of information on how to help people on the ends of transportation. If they're needing to go to doctor's appointments or just to go get groceries, she's helping them figure out how they can get themselves and their wheelchair, if need be, over to the grocery store to pull those tasks off in their life. And so between the three of us right now in our Boise office anyway, we tackle quite a bit that way. In our Caldwell office, we have Kelly Romine, and she does a lot of those assessments on her end. And then we also have an office in Twin Falls, but we're needing to fill that position at this time.
Okay, so somebody calls in and they've been referred to you through a therapist or maybe a doctor's office. And then you go to the home and do an assessment. Now, this is cheating a little bit, so don't be offended.
No.
You go in and you look at the things that you can provide, but do you also kind of look around and help them to do an assessment of some of the other things?
Preventative measures, you bet. You bet. I mean, we want to prevent obstacles in their path, any tripping hazards. You know, admittedly, we meet some people that have collected things over the years that they love, but we need to figure out where we can store those things away if need be, and create an open environment for them to not have any falling hazards, especially. That's a big one that we need to combat the most, because so many people, they have falling injuries from their disability, and then they become more disabled from those falls.
Well, for example, I may be speaking from personal experience, but I was 4 or 5. I don't know that we do this as much as we used to, but the coffee table, right? Like right here, I'm at a coffee table. It's got sharp corners on it. That, by the way, that can be dangerous when you slam your head into it, because one, you can bleed a lot on Aunt Muriel's carpet. That's a possibility. I'm not saying that actually happened, but it's a possibility.
Yes.
And so that would be one thing that we're paying attention to.
One of many, yes. I mean, falls in the shower. Again, the bathroom is a hazardous area. Anywhere you add water in the kitchens and the bathrooms, it can become slippery and it can become hazardous. And we want to try to see what we can do to prevent accidents beforehand.
Got it. And so walk us through. You come into the home. And of course, you walk up 3 steps. They're concrete. There's no handrail, right?
Right. So that's a ramp assessment at that time.
Okay. So you've started already going, they could sure use a ramp.
Yes.
And the hand railing would be nice. Is that something that you would refer out and go, yeah, we know somebody that can come and do a railing?
We did do it. We still have a ramp program. For the longest time, we were filling in the gaps. Many people, we do benefits counseling along the way, and we try to see if we can get them a permanent ramp through the benefits they're already entitled to. And a lot of times they just don't know the right hoops to jump through to get those things to them. And so we were filling in that gap to just loan them a ramp until they would get their own. And unfortunately, we lost our ramp specialist last year. And so we haven't been able to do that as much as we normally would. And so what we've done is we've increased our power to be able to find resources throughout the Treasure Valley to go in and build those permanent ramps just right off the bat and get it taken care
Got
of.
it. You said something, if I may go back to, and that is you do some benefits counseling.
Correct.
Talk to me about benefits. What are we talking?
So Medicaid, Medicare, and of course, people's own private insurance. A lot of the times they make you jump through hoops to know what you have earned by paying them every month. And that's where we dig in and we do a constant learning curve to figure those out for them. A lot of it just goes right through the Idaho Department of Welfare, where they can continue to do what we call the A&D waiver, and that's aged and disabled waiver, and that will start to get the ball rolling to understand where they can get AT, DME, ramps, and other things to help them in their daily lives. And they've already earned this equipment. They just need to know about it.
Got it. Okay, very good. So we're going in and we head upstairs, up the 3 steps. And we go into the living room, and we have my joke, of course, is the burnt orange or avocado green 1970s, thick pile, shag carpet.
Which is really easy to navigate in a wheelchair.
Very easy to navigate in a wheelchair.
Or a walker.
Oh my goodness gracious. You don't have to, but do you make recommendations that they get rid of that carpet?
I try. We can't tell people how to live because that would be against our philosophy. But I will tell them that the last 3 times they've had to bring their walker in because it didn't work was because I found carpet fibers wrapped around all the wheels.
Oh my gosh. I could see that. Yeah. Okay, so you come in there, and then of course we have the coffee table with its really sharp square corners, and it may not even be all that tall, maybe just big enough to trip over. And is that where you then start? Is like, okay, yeah. Okay, very good.
Yeah. I mean, you can pad the ends, but it doesn't look very good.
So, but if you come in and you give them a recommendation that, well, we've got a wheelchair that will work, but you really got to move this and you got to move that, and you know what, you can't even get down your hallway because they got another little telephone table in there, and of course we don't need to anymore because the telephone's in our back pocket, but it used to be that we had the telephone there. Again, some more recommendations.
Absolutely. Yes, freeing up space and making room for that wheelchair or power chair to navigate freely throughout the home.
Got it. And then, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Krista.
A lot of what I do is teaching people all of the other, I call it the Swiss Army knife of assistive technology, their smartphone. How do you use it?
Oh, yeah.
How do you access it if you can't see it well? What are the tools to access it if you can't hear it well? And when that fall happens, do you have the technology in place to be able to call for assistance so you don't spend the night on a cold floor?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So then at that point, you're beeline right to the bathroom, right? Because that's where the falls happen. That's where the good stuff happens, where they fall, hit their head. I just can't imagine. And I know actually a client or two that spent the night on the floor in the shower.
Oh, goodness. And that's, you don't want that to happen. We do recommend life alerts and other types of devices regularly for folks that have those concerns. And we also, we provide a lot of the bars, the grab bars, We've
Mhm.
done, we set them up with 4-footers that go all the way down the hall, so they can use those all the way down the hall. Just short little 18, 16-inch that will go in the bathroom, all around the toilet, drop arm that goes on either side of the toilet, as well as just all around the shower encompassingly. Our only setback on that is we don't have a licensed contractor on staff. And so we can provide all the grab bars, but we can't install them legally for insurance purposes. But that's where we have the educational side too, and the information side, where we can show them how they can install them themselves, or we can actually provide them with a list of contractors willing to come in and do it at a very minimal cost.
Is that hard to find a contractor, or is that
Yeah.
relatively?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So-
I've done my best research and luck that I've had is on nextdoor.com, where there are a lot of contractors out there just willing to help people out. And so that's been a wonderful
Oh,
resource.
very good. Very good. And and if you run across someone who's done a good job, and you know,
Mhm.
whoever they did it for like that, then you can pass that along.
Exactly. We
Got
count
it.
on those reviews.
So,
And there are
Oh.
also some programs that we refer to, like
Mhm.
the Habitat for Humanity groups around the state. Many of those will help with those sort of small modifications to homes to keep people safe and in their own homes.
very good.
We work through Habitat for Humanity as well for a lot of our ramp program.
Oh,
Right.
very good.
So
Very
they're a
good.
wonderful resource here.
And here in Moscow, the Lions Club and Habitat work very closely together. In
Yeah.
Lewis Clark Valley, it's LINC. There are many organizations around the state helping with that low level of home modification stuff.
Very good. Okay, so Terry, we went straight to the bathroom. We passed the kitchen, or dining room. Is there stuff in there that we should be aware of?
Well, in the kitchen, often step stools are what are needed. If someone's in a power chair, that's like Krista was mentioning, we can provide them with an eye level power chair. And it's literally a power chair that lifts you up to a 6-foot level, and you can get things out of those top shelves.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Anything else in the kitchen that we should be thinking about?
For cognitive, I mean, that's probably, you know, again, where accidents can happen. And that's where we really want to be more involved with the family members and their involvement with the individual. We don't want to have someone that has memory issues and is leaving the stove on and causing any problems that way. And so that's where we will have those recommendations and prefer to work with the families as directly as the
Got it.
individual.
But there are also assistive technologies like a motion detector that
Mhm.
would shut a stove off if no one has moved in front of it in the last 3 to 5 minutes. So
That's wonderful.
there are, yeah, who knew? And there are actually also automatic fire extinguishers. You can install them over a stove. And if a fire sets off that the detector or the extinguisher that's
Mhm.
up in the vent level, it'll drop fire retardant onto the stove itself. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Taking notes. This
kinds
is
of
wonderful.
fascinating things available on the
I-
market.
I'm gonna get swatted tonight because I'm gonna mention to my wife the motion detector because well, it's happened. I have a gas stove, and on the very lowest setting, which is sometimes just to keep something warm, you don't necessarily see the flame, right? So you don't know. You forget that it's on. Anyhow, oh my gosh, she'll be mad at me.
Another of the safety tools that a lot of people are now using are induction burners. So
Mhm.
rather than a burner that generates heat, either through gas or electricity, it's a magnetic burner. So if you leave the pan on, it will still cause problems, but you're not going to light the paperwork or, anything else that's around you
Goodness.
from
Yeah.
the heat on the burner.
Yes.
Oh, these people are all much smarter than I am. All right, very good. So again, now that I know we haven't exhausted all the possibilities there.
So actually, another kitchen related thing
Absolutely.
are tools for the activities of daily living, whether that is tools to get the lids off of the jars, or whether it's for someone who has developed a tremor and has difficulty getting the spoon to their mouth. And there are tools such as self-leveling spoons.
Yes.
That regardless of what your hand is doing, it smooths out and gets a lot more of the food into your mouth. And in our demonstration library, we even have a feeding robot. It's this little arm with a rotating plate that if somebody can hit a switch, it will choose the food, and then the arm will scoop it up and bring it to the person's mouth.
Oh,
so
goodness.
For someone with a high level spinal cord injury or ALS, or, those greater motor issues, the tools are there to be able to feed yourself.
Yes.
The issue is getting them funded.
Well, yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. So I think the next spot that I wanted to talk about is, and you mentioned a number of these, Tarey, but the bedroom. It might not be as dangerous as the bathroom, but there is a lot going on when you get there, to get into bed, get out of bed, getting dressed and undressed and all that stuff. Talk to me.
So we supply hospital beds. We do the transfer poles, which are the poles that someone can use to grab onto from the edge of the bed to stand or to lay down. The wedges, if they don't want a full hospital bed, they can use a wedge, and that'll help prevent their bed sores or any type of pressure sore, or just to sit and watch TV comfortably. We offer dressing sticks, as well as the reacher grabbers, the poles that you can grab things with and use those for pulling up your pants. Sock donners, which you can use to pull on your shoes and socks. We also do the trapeze units. It's an actual bar that hangs up over the bed, and you can reach up and grab onto a ring and sit up in bed that way. We offer, even if you don't make it to the bathroom all the time, we have the bedside commodes, where if worst case scenario, you can just go ahead and at least get off the bed with your pole and take care of your business right there in your bedroom.
And there are also versions of a bedside commode that have a hydraulic lift. So like your lift recliner, you can get a seat either for over the toilet or for a commode that will help boost you back into a standing position.
Which I'm sitting here going, well, yeah, that helps with some independence and helps to be able to stay home and all that. But, just a little personal dignity, that if you have been able to take care of yourself and now you're in a situation where that's difficult, that's hard. That's hard on at least men. I don't know about women. They seem to adapt better than we do, but this is something that allows them to maintain, some independence, but also a little bit of dignity. I can take care of myself.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So we talked about the living room. Did we talk about everything that we should have in the living room?
Well, again, like Krista said, we do offer the lift recliners, and they're wonderful.
Yes.
As far as some folks, we give them a lift recliner and they never go back to their bed again. They just
Um,
let that thing go all the way back and they fall asleep right there, and then it stands them up in the morning to go make their breakfast. And
that was my mother. She got to the point where she didn't sleep in her bed for the last 2 years of her life. But here's the story. Are you ready for the story? She was, we got this for her and it was very nice. And she took to it just right away. She said, "Oh, this is great. I love it." Well, she was one morning, middle of the morning, she was in there watching probably NCIS, because when you get to a certain age, you sign a contract that says you have to watch as many episodes of NCIS as possible. So she was reclined back. She was watching NCIS, and the power went out.
Mhm.
And so one, she couldn't watch Mark, what's his name, on NCIS. That was done. And then two, she couldn't get out of the chair
Well, in many of
because,
these chairs, they have a modern add-on now in the actual power cord where it takes two 9-volt batteries, and in that situation, it'll allow you to stand up one more time.
oh, very good. That's good to know.
Yes.
That's good to know. She didn't have that, but she called me laughing. Her phone worked, so she was calling people while she was there. And well, of course, was hoping that she wouldn't be there all that long, and she wasn't there terribly long, but she was there, long enough to go, "Oh, this is kind of an issue." And then she just started laughing at herself because there she was, no TV, and couldn't get out of her chair. So very interesting.
So
Oh, go ahead.
you want another story?
Sure.
So my grandparents in their early 90s were living in a single wide trailer in Anchorage. And my grandmother had lost a leg to diabetes and was sleeping in a recliner. And my grandfather heard absolutely nothing when his hearing aids came out at night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So he wasn't sleeping well because he was afraid that she would try to get up on her own and fall. And anyway, so I bought an alerting system for them, which had a doorbell, which we placed beside her chair, and the base unit, which was beside my grandfather's bed and had a bed shaker, so that when she pushed the button, it would vibrate under his pillow and the lamp would flash, and he would then be able to assist her. And it was a winner for everybody because she wasn't taking the risks that she had been previously by trying to get up alone. And he was sleeping because he knew that she could reach him if need be. And after she passed away, then the doorbell was placed outside the door so that he knew when Meals on Wheels arrived.
Mhm.
And another of the questions that many people don't consider is, would you hear your smoke detector when your hearing aids are out at night? So having an appropriate alerting system, again, can be a lifesaver.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's easy for me to see how easy it is to overlook all this stuff, right?
Mhm.
And people, and again, that's what Krista, that was my question, is how do people find out about this stuff? And they need an input. They need somebody who can direct them, for example, to you. Okay, here, let me get you into the system, and it's an informational system, and you just need to get in there and start asking questions, and they got stuff you've never thought of.
Yep.
And but that's the key, right? Is to get them started.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Well,
And
Fortunately, we have both the independent living conferences, we have Disability Awareness Day, and different events where, like, Krista and myself and other centers for independent living and organizations can all meet and share this information with each other every year and get caught up with the different things that we all do to help people with these items with our education and how we can train people better and keep them safer.
Very good, very good. And it's by the way, it's a never ending task. You just
Continual
keep,
learning curve.
just keep throwing it out there. Just keep throwing it out there. So Tarey, fill us back in on LINC. What are we talking there? And best way to get hold of you.
So the best way to get a hold of me is via email, which is info@linkidaho.org, or our direct number 208-336-3335. To get me directly for equipment, I'm extension 220, and for our information department, that would be extension 229.
Very
And
good.
we definitely, we go out into the community quite often too. We go to retirement homes and other places to make sure people understand and see that we're out there and know what we do. As a Center for Independent Living, that it's the philosophy right there, and that independent living, it means staying in your home and not in an institution, and that's what we promote.
And again, that's our conference. Is the home, no place like home, and we want to help people. We just need them to be very intentional about the decisions leading up to being here, so that one, they have the information, and two, then they have the ability to pay for it, or they have a team that can help them with it. And Krista, I see that you've put your information into the chat box, so people have some access to that.
Yeah,
Anything you want to add to
links
that?
there as well.
Yeah. Oh, very good. I'm just far enough away. I didn't catch the second one. I got the first one. I didn't catch the second one. Well, very good. It is great. Thank you both for being with us this afternoon. There's a world of information here available. We didn't talk about everything, but I thought we gave it a pretty good introduction. And again, if the folks listening in, if you've got questions, you now have resources. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't get overwhelmed. You know how to get started, and you know what? We want you to have a nice, safe, and high quality life. That's what we're shooting for. So Tarey, Krista, thank you both.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks.